Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Balanced Mindset Coach webinar presents Clearing Out the Chaos. I'm so excited for you to be with us today as we start talking about how we move from feeling overwhelmed to feeling like we're in full productivity mode. So, today I appreciate those of you who are joining us live, and for those of you who are listening to the replay, thank you for joining today. So, whether you are a corporate executive, whether you're early on in your career, whether you're an entrepreneur, or even if you're currently out of the workforce, this webinar is for you. It offers valuable insights. If you have ever felt overwhelmed and surrounded by disorder, trust and believe that there is a way out. You can discover here effective strategies to apply immediately, like today, that will help bring calm to the chaos and really make room for you to be able to pursue what really matters for you. What you're going to learn today is if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you feel stuck, this course is going to focus on three key components. And actually, I'm going to give you a bonus. So, three keys and a bonus to help you control the chaos and then deliver results like you've never delivered them before. So, if you're a note taker like I am, some of the takeaways that you can think about are one, we're going to talk about first is clutter. The second deals with time. The third deals with fuel. And then finally, we have a bonus, and that's going to discuss choices and options. So, I want to talk a little bit about my story and why this is important for me. We often have had, this preconceived notion about what our ideal life should entail, should be like. Many of us have dedicated years to idealizing and constructing and deciding for ourselves what our life was going to look like, right? And we've put all these goals and we've said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to achieve this. And then after that, this is what it's going to look like. But despite achieving those goals or working toward this ideal life, sometimes we feel disappointed and often irritated, right? Because instead of feeling this overwhelming feeling of success and fulfillment, life sometimes becomes this constant battle of what's next, right? What's going to happen next? What urgent situation what do I have to deal with next? And I'm constantly meeting demands of other people. So the time that you've allotted to yourself, that personal time, it keeps evolving as this endless responsibilities, endless to-do list, endless things. And that peace and the tranquility that we seek often seems so elusive as we struggle to really find balance amidst all of the chaos that's going on. Rather than succumbing to the overwhelming pressures, I want to show you that achieving a balanced lifestyle is indeed possible. I've been working in corporate America for almost 30 years, right? And there's been periods of my professional life combined with my personal life, where I felt like things were out of control. I felt like, how do I balance being this, great employee, this great performer, plus, being a great wife, being a great mom, being a great friend, being great at all the things. But what I'm going to show and talk to you today is some of the strategies that I had to take a look at, which often also looks at, what are my priorities? What's important for me? And the idea of great. What does that even mean? What's that mean to me? And where am I getting these ideals of what great and what wonderful are? Are they my own? Were they dictated to me? Am I being programmed by something that I saw on television? Am I living in reality, or is this what my parents wanted for me? Is this, what mindset am I operating in when I say I want to be X, I want to be Y. What I'm going to take you through, like I said, there's three key pillars that I want to focus on that'll really help you um, clear out the chaos. Um, and as you follow me and you learn me a little bit more, you'll hear more about my story and um, how deeply it was entrenched in overwhelm, and how, you know, I'm living proof of how a balanced life really is possible. So let's talk about essential number one. This is the first focus area I want you to think about, and this is clutter. Clutter lives not only in our physical space, but clutter lives in our minds. What I would say is we often immerse ourselves in clutter the minute we wake up. Start the day with a clear mind. Some of you are going to get a little nervous when I say this, but start the day with no social media. Start the day with no email. Start the day without technology, right? Wake up. Think about what this day is. Be thankful for a brand new day. Be thankful for the day. Why do you clutter? Why do we clutter our minds? The first thing we do is we reach over in our bed and get our phone and start scrolling. Take a minute, just take a deep breath before you do that. And what I would recommend is how you start the day is really important because it sets the tone. Um, I would recommend that you meditate and, you think about exactly what I just said. What are you grateful for? You've started a brand new day. Start the day out, instead of being in negativity, start the day out with joy. Start the day thinking about, how beautiful it is, what you're grateful for, what you're thankful for. This morning when I woke up, I thought about, what am I going to meditate on today? What is my intention? And the first thing I do is I sit down, I take a deep breath, and I just come into my senses. I feel my body. I want to feel like what I'm feeling, right? So if my neck is a little stiff, okay, I need to focus on that today. If my back is bothering me, I need to focus on my stretching. What is my body telling me? It's very important to listen to what your body is telling you. The second thing I think about is, what is my intention for the day? My intention for today was to be grateful. I'm grateful for the opportunity, right? I'm grateful for the opportunity to be in position that people come to me for advice and counsel. I am grateful for the opportunity to bring income in. I'm grateful for the opportunity to spend time with my loved ones. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to fill in the blank for yourselves, right? Being grateful and setting an intention about what your day sets the tone for how you can choose to react to the day, right? So my recommendation, essential number one, is clear your mind of the clutter, right? Start thinking and talking about things in a positive manner. And this includes yourself, when you have conversations about yourself, um, I'm not going to say anymore, oh, this is, why did I pick this shirt? Why did I pick this such and such? Why did I, you know, that's a, it's a, if I do something that's not intentional, instead of thinking of it as a mistake and, oh, that's so stupid. Why did you do that? That's no. Hmm. Why did why did you do that instead of doing this? Wow, what opportunity exists in this, right? Or oops, better luck next time, right? Something more positive instead of being so negative and draining your energy. We drain our own energies by the way that we speak to ourselves. I often would recommend that writing your thoughts down in an online journal or a planner, um, or some sort of electronic device is helpful for you to understand when you're starting to talk negative about yourself, what's the situation that you're encountering? Are you in a situation where you're feeling overwhelmed? Oftentimes when you're feeling overwhelmed is the exact time when you start talking negatively about yourself, and what you're doing is you're like self-sabotaging yourself, right? Your thoughts, your emotions fuel your thoughts, and your thoughts are framed, and you create beliefs, and you start acting on those things. So once you start talking in a positive manner, clearing yourself of the clutter, the negative clutter in your mind, and that could be negative conversations that you're having, but it's also cutting off negative conversations that are coming into you, and that's important. So I'm keeping looking at my watch because I want to make sure that I address all of the other points. Clutter in your mind is important to address, but also there's clutter in your home. Making sure that your home is a peaceful space, making sure that you have the ability to focus and clearly see is very important. For me, I like a very neat space, very organized space. That's important for me. That creates peace for me. But I also have a toddler. I also have a 3, almost 4 year old who has lots of toys. And it's important for the home to not only be neat and clean, but it's also important for him to feel like he can play and access his toys. And I think that that's great, right? But he also knows that for him, he'll tell me, oh, this is too many things, too much stuff. He knows when there's too many things out, and he'll start cleaning up because he wants to be able to focus on an activity. And if there's too many things, what does that tell you? It's overwhelming, right? So then we clean up. And that's the same advice that I would give for you all. Create a vision for your home. What do you want it to feel like, right? So where do you start? Start by not holding on to clutter, right? If you haven't used something, if it's not providing you joy, donate it, get rid of it. You don't have to hold on to things, right? Things don't bring you joy, but what things can do if there's too many things is the things can distract you, and the things can clutter you. The things can make you feel like you don't have the space to be innovative, the space to be thoughtful, and the space to focus. So when you think about what you want your home to look like or what you want your home to feel, um, you can look at inspiration, you can look at magazines, and you can start building that within, right? Um, Start thinking about what resonates with you. For me, I like very simple. I don't like clutter. I don't like a lot of color because I like color and accents. I just have everything as simple as possible. When I go into my closet, I know I need to find certain, outfits, and I color coordinate them. I have my shoes organized. And a lot of that sounds like, oh my goodness, that's so overwhelming to do. You start things in steps, right? The first thing I would recommend is you clear the clutter. Wherever you're cleaning, decide that week that this is a clutter removal week. I'm going to take one room a day. And let's say, I'm in my office right now. If I looked around and I said, okay, today's my day to clean, maybe there's paper, maybe there's things that I don't need, that I need to get rid of. So that's how you clear your clutter. In your closet, think about the things that you have not worn and will not wear. Think about if you're trying to, lose a couple pounds, and you say, oh, well, I might fit back into it. Okay, cool. But is it still something stylish that you would want to wear? Or is it something that that's just hanging there for no reason? There's other people that could utilize those materials, those clothes. So don't hold on to things just for the sake of holding on to them. Cleaning is an area that people get overwhelmed with, they get frustrated with. But create a plan, right? I'll give you how I do it. I don't clean on the weekends unless something major happens on the weekday where I need to. But it's very rare that I'm going to clean on the weekends. The weekends are for me to enjoy my family, not for me to clean. And by the way, I really like cleaning, so that's a big deal for me to say. What I do is I have a plan. Every day I have zones in my house where I clean. One day might be I'm going to clean all the bathrooms today, and that's what I'm going to do. The other couple days I'm going to clean, a specific room, and that's what you have to plan out what makes sense for you, um, so that you're not overwhelmed. You do a little bit, a little bit, and a little bit, and you schedule that. You plan it. You hardwire it into your calendar so it's always part of your day. And if you're the type of person who has a variable schedule, well, some weeks you're not going to be able to get to every single thing that you did. So then you create a buffer, like the weekend. If you have to, then you can do it then. Or if that sounds too overwhelming for you and it's not that critical, it's not like something that's so urgent for you, space it out for 2 weeks or hire someone to do it, right? That's what you have to think of. You have to decide what what is important for you, what's meaningful for you. And if you find that cleaning is important and you don't have time and you have the ability to hire someone to do it, do that. Or you just take little bits at a time so it's not overwhelming for you. um, I want to move into mindset essential number two, and that's about time. Time is really, really precious. And a lot of you might want to know, how do I fit all of my to-dos in one day? How do I fit it all? I'm very, I want to be very successful. I want to do all the things. I want to be great in all the things. What do I do? The reality is that we have time, right? We have time. We just need to prioritize what's important. For example, if working out is really important to you, maybe you ought to think about the time that you're spend sitting scrolling social media, right? Or watching television, right? Like, can you miss an episode? Can you not watch TV when it airs, but can you watch it on the weekend when you're folding laundry and you have to be, kind of um, sitting still, or can you do it while you're food prepping in on the weekend? Whatever you're doing, maybe you need to think about blocking critical time. For me, what I would recommend is when you block time in your calendar that's not a critical window of time. For example, for me, I block time in the morning from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock to do certain things that I find valuable for me as a person, because I try not to start my workday until 8. Sometimes I have to start it earlier, but from 6 to 8, that's my space, my time. If I want to sleep in, I'll sleep in. If I want to meditate, if I want to take a walk, if I want to get an early start on something in my home, I can do that, right? Maybe your block might be later on in the day, but you can use this period of time for yourself. Block it out so that nothing else comes in. You can wake up earlier, you can go to bed later, you can manage those times. But I can also recommend that when you're using these groups of time, you want to do group similar tasks together. So let's say you're overwhelmed because you need to make some calls, you have appointments to make. um, Okay, well, group that with creating a list for your groceries along with your laundry. Another group could involve doing errands. For example, um, there's times when I have to mail out some things for my job. Well, when I mail those things out, um, do I have other things that I need to mail? Do I have another group of items that's along that route that I could conquer? Then that's the time that I do it. You have to think about what are the smart groupings that you can task together. Just like I said, food prepping is really important, and we'll touch on that later. It's important for me. So if I'm food prepping, during the time that I'm food prepping, maybe I'll watch television, maybe I'll listen to an audio book or a podcast. But those are those times that I can group things together. Maybe it's arts and crafts time with my son, or maybe it's playing outside. Okay, if he wants to play outside, maybe we can take a walk and then I get in some physical activity. So you have to think about what can you group likely in your block of time that you have, and then you keep adding like tasks, and that way you're able to execute more things in the same amount of time. Okay. um, the next mindful essential that I want to talk about is fuel. Fuel is important for your body. One, your body is your temple, and fuel is what you're eating, and fuel is also movement, right? So you think about your body is your temple, you are what you eat, what you put in is what you get out. And the same with movement, what you put in is what you get out. It is very critical if you are somebody who wants to be able to execute and perform well, that you are conscious of what you're putting in your body. Time and time again, you will find studies about the actual food that you're eating and what type of additives are in your food. Taking time to really eat simple and eat clean is important. And not only that, but it'll change the way that you can perform. Um, you know, I love coffee. I am a coffee connoisseur, but reducing the amount of caffeine um, that I consume helps me to be able to focus because I'm not jittery. I don't feel unwell, and I'm able to focus. The same thing with the food that we eat. Eating clean, whole foods is very important in order to make sure that you're sustaining proper levels within your body, and then also um, not consuming things that are chemicals and carcinogens in our body. I love buying fresh fruit. I love eating very clean. Sometimes I don't have the time, right? So I think of the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, I'm eating clean and I'm moving my body. That other 20%, sometimes it's fast food, sometimes it's, whatever, I pick up quickly. But stocking your refrigerator, making things simple for yourself, chopping up fruits, chopping up vegetables, even when you're like eating foods that are very quick and easy, having salad ready for you, having vegetables ready, and then having a protein, it's often more simple than it seems, right? You don't have to. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I got home pretty late, and to make a salmon bowl with some fresh vegetables, rice, and salmon that I got from Costco that is absolutely delicious, organic, fresh, all of those things, took about 15 minutes, right? When I was done with that meal, I felt energized, I felt good. But if I would have stopped and gotten a greasy fast food meal, I would have felt unwell, I would have felt sluggish. It would have just like hindered the rest of my evening. And I would have felt bad that, like, oh, I didn't feed, I didn't have anything good for me. So think about what you're eating, what you're consuming. And again, the 80-20 rule, and I think about what's important for me. I was having a conversation with my husband, and it's always important for me to feed my family, to do these things, but as is the goal for me to do it, or is the goal that they have and we have great food? Sometimes it's okay to hire somebody to do the things that you don't have time to do because at that moment you've got other things prioritized. So, you've got options there. The second part of essential number three, fuel, is movement. Very simple. Once you stop moving, you stop moving. And what that means is if you're not keeping your joints active, if you're not keeping your body active, you're not going to be able to have that ability to do so anymore. Right? I'm active as much as I can be, and I want to continue to be, because once I stop, I'm not going to be able to start again. And when you're younger, you kind of take those things for uh, you take it for granted, right? But your body, it's important to focus on movement because your movement will allow you to move in a way that you can, take walks, to, have a larger thought process around movement, and, exercise. Um, but once you stop moving around, you're not going to be able to. So just keep that in mind. How can you incorporate movement into your daily activities? Even when you're working, like right now, I'm talking and I'm standing. And, it's just important to keep that movement, to keep your body going, to keep your brain, all of the energy flowing to you. The last thing I want to talk about is our bonus mindset essential. Your thoughts resonate at different energetic levels, right? If you follow me, and I'll talk about it more, there's catabolic energy and there's anabolic energy. Catabolic drains you. Anabolic energizes you. Your thoughts are viewed from a lens based on how you've lived your life. Your ability to choose your thoughts and your energy consciously, despite obstacles or challenges, have a direct correlation to how you respond and show up in life. There's unpredictable events. I've gone through them all. There's so many unpredictable events that happen in life that can easily throw you off. But the reality is, it doesn't have to. You have a choice. You can choose how to show up. You don't have to let life cause you to be negative and drain your energy. You can choose to be unchanged. You can choose to be balanced and lead with conscious intent. And that's my goal, to continue to do that and continue to show up in a way where I invite others to do the same. So, if you want options for how you can show up in the midst of challenges, you can show up with your anabolic energy positively, gratefully. And if you want to stop being at the effect of life, meaning your reactions are all that you show up as instead of being mindful and intentional, then let's talk. There's a reason that you joined today's session. There is obviously a focus that you've had, um, and that you've been overwhelmed at some points. And what I want to share with you is that there is a way forward. I invite you to go to my website, www.thebalancedmindset.com, and schedule a free 30-minute discovery call where we can talk about options for coaching and to find out if coaching is an option for you, if we're a good fit. Otherwise, you can continue to follow along. Understand that there are challenges, and I will continue to provide you tips and hints on how you can continue to stop the chaos. So,